In this lesson, you're going to see two things. I'm going to cover functions in a little bit more detail. We've done that before, but a little bit more detail. And I'm also going to talk about referencing cells. So here I've got an employee mileage expense sheet. And for this sheet, each employee is given a rate of 34 cents per kilometer that they drive. And that's to cover the cost of gas and repairs and wear and tear in their vehicle. So here you'll see Bell has driven on October 3rd a total of 120 kilometers. Sorry, I'll change this to km. And so for the expense, I'm going to use a function. So I click in cell D6 where I want to put how much Bell should be given. So the formula is going to be equal to the number of kilometers driven, in this case 120. And so by clicking on the cell C6, it will automatically select the value of 120. And then we simply multiply the 120 kilometers by the 34 cents per kilometer that we're going to give Bell, which would be cell D3. When I press the enter key, it's going to put the value of $40.80 in the cell. Okay, most of you already know how to do something like that. Here's where a problem might come up. I'm going to use the fill handle because it's a great way to quickly fill things, and I'm going to drag and do the same thing for all the cells below. And I get some crazy values here. In one cell, D7, it displays value, and that means that it can't be calculated. In another cell, it displays 0. So let me fix this and show you what I did wrong. So if I click in cell D7, you're going to see the formula is C7, which is correct, 125, but it's multiplied by D4, which is the word expense. How does it know how to multiply by expense? And why did it choose expense? I thought I wanted to give each person a 34 cent per kilometer rate. And so what we need to do is we need to use the cell reference. And that's why I put cell reference up here. The cell reference is wrong. I want to lock this cell, D4, as being the reference that we're going to use for all the cells, or sorry, D3. So what I do in this one here is when I click in to do my formula, I put a $sign in front of the D. And what that means is when I use the fill handle, it's going to lock it on column D. Also, I want to lock it on row 3, so I put a $sign in front of the 3, and it's going to lock, and when I drag down, it's not going to change. So watch what happens. The formula is the same. It still displays this value of $40.80. But when I use the fill handle this time, what you're going to see is the correct values are going to fill in. It's going to lock it on column D, row 3 for each of these formulas. And you'll see it's displayed up here as column D, row 3. Now, because I was just dragging down, I actually didn't need to lock row 3. So I could have just said column D, but lock row 3. So I put a $sign in front of the 3. And if I did that, you would find the fill would actually have worked as well. And that would probably be better. Now, an even better way that I could do that is I could click on cell D3, and in the name box, I could name the cell an appropriate name. In this case, I could call it mileage rate. And so that's might make more sense if I call it mileage rate. And then what I could do is for my formula, I could say equals C6 multiplied by mileage rate. Oops. And it will do the mileage rate. Sorry, I didn't press enter in there. So in the name box, you'll see it says mileage rate, not cell D3. And so now I want to take C6 multiplied by the mileage rate. And so all these are going to be multiplied by the mileage rate. Not only does it lock the cell and making it an absolute cell reference, but it's easy to read. If I'm looking at the formula for T. McAllister and I click on the expense, I see it's cell C9 multiplied by the mileage rate. Finally, I want to show you one more thing in functions that I didn't show you. Here I want to do a total, or a sum of all of the expenses. And so to do that, I click on cell D13, where I'm going to put the total. And if you click the FX Insert Function button, a little dialog box pops up. And on the dialog box, you can see all the functions. Or if I want to see most recently used functions, a smaller box of the functions I've most recently used. In this case, I want to use the sum. And I can click on OK, and it's going to give me a dialog box and say, OK, what do you want to do with that function? What is the range of values? And I can select the range of values, which would be this range right here. And so I can highlight the range. And then when I press OK, it's going to automatically generate the function, which is called equals sum with a range of D6, colon means 2, cell D11. So it's going to sum up D6 all the way to D11. And so that's a nice quick way to get a total. And the total in this case is $233.58. And that's exactly what I wanted to put there.